What if I told you that the life you're living right now, the choices you're making, the words you're saying, are all building a story that you will only get one chance to write, one life, one chance. And every single day you have a choice to listen, to learn, to live fully, or to let it slip through your fingers. Today, I want you to hear something that might just change the way you see your life, because what you listen to every day shapes who you become. Every single day we are faced with choices. Some of them seem small, almost insignificant, like what we eat for breakfast or which route we take to work. Others feel monumental, like deciding who to marry, what career to pursue, or where to live. But here's the truth. It doesn't matter how big or small the choice seems in the moment. Every single decision we make is like a brushstroke on the canvas of our life. Every choice adds color. Every choice adds depth. Every choice shapes the image of who we are and who we will become. And when you step back, when you look at the totality of your life, what you see is a reflection of the sum of all the choices you made along the way. That's what I mean when I say your choices define your legacy. Legacy is a word that makes people think of old age, of money left behind, or of statues in public squares. But the truth is, your legacy begins the moment you start making choices. It starts with the way you treat people when no one is watching. It starts with the integrity you maintain when it's inconvenient. It starts with the risks you take when fear is whispering that you shouldn't. Every decision builds momentum. Every choice compounds. And the choices you make today set the stage for the life you'll look back on tomorrow. Think about it for a moment. Every person you admire, whether it's a world leader, a trailblazing entrepreneur, or a quiet hero in your own community, didn't get there by accident. They didn't stumble into their greatness. They made choices. Sometimes those choices were hard. Sometimes they went against the norm. Sometimes they required them to sacrifice comfort for growth. But at the core of every success story is a simple truth. Deliberate choices, consistently made, create an extraordinary life. Now, here's the hard part. Most of us live as if life is a series of random events, as if circumstances happen to us rather than through us. We blame the weather, the economy, other people, or just bad luck for where we are. But let me tell you something powerful. You always have a choice. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you do control how you respond. You do control the decisions you make next. You do control whether you give in to fear or step into faith. And those choices, those tiny, consistent decisions define your legacy far more than any external circumstance ever could. I want you to picture your life like a garden. Every choice you make is like planting a seed. Some seeds grow into beautiful flowers. Others grow into weeds. Some seeds take years to bloom, but eventually they show themselves. If you neglect your garden, if you allow it to be overrun by weeds, then that garden becomes a reflection of neglect. But if you tend it daily, water it, nurture it, make deliberate decisions about what you plant and what you allow to grow, your garden flourishes. That is your life. Your choices are the seeds, and your legacy is the harvest that comes from the seeds you've planted over time. Here's something even more striking. The choices you make aren't just about you. They ripple outward. Your choices impact your family, your friends, your community, and even people you don't yet know. When you choose kindness, honesty, and integrity, you set a standard for others. When you choose laziness, dishonesty, or fear, you set a standard for others as well. Every decision is like a stone dropped into a pond. The ripples travel far beyond where the stone hits. And over time, those ripples accumulate, forming a wave that defines your presence in the world. Sometimes the weight of legacy can feel overwhelming. It's easy to think, I'm just one person, what I do doesn't matter, but history shows us the opposite. One choice can change the course of a life, a family, a community, or even the world. One choice can ignite a movement. One choice can break a cycle of poverty, abuse, or generational fear. One choice can inspire someone who is standing right behind you to believe that they can do the same. That is the power of choice. That is the power you carry every single day. Now, let's be honest, making the right choice isn't always easy. There are moments when we know what we should do, but it's uncomfortable, risky, or painful. There are moments when fear screams louder than faith. There are moments when the easier path seems more tempting, even though we know it will cost us in the long run. Those are the moments that define us. Those are the moments when our choices truly define our legacy. Choosing courage over comfort, truth over convenience, action over hesitation. These are the choices that leave a mark that lasts beyond a lifetime. But here's the beauty. It's never too late. No matter your age, no matter your past mistakes, no matter how far off track you feel, you can start making choices today that redefine your legacy. The moment you take responsibility for your decisions, the moment you commit to living intentionally rather than reactively, is the moment you reclaim your life. That is the moment when legacy begins, not in some far off future, not in a hypothetical someday, but in the here and now. I want you to ask yourself, what story do I want my life to tell? When people remember me, what do I want them to say? How do I want to influence the world? Because the answers to those questions aren't answered in some distant dream. They are answered in the choices you make today. Every action, every word, every decision you make either moves you closer to that story or further away from it. And every single choice matters. So as you go through life, I want you to live with intention. I want you to recognize that your choices are sacred. They are the building blocks of a legacy that cannot be taken from you. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million or 100. It doesn't matter if you have fame or live in obscurity. It doesn't matter if the world notices or if it doesn't. What matters is that when you leave this life, you can look back and say, I made my choices with purpose. I lived my life deliberately. I left a legacy worth remembering. Your choices define your legacy. Not your circumstances, not your talent, not your luck, your choices. And the question is, what choices will you make today? What will you plant in your garden? What ripples will you send out into the world? Because the truth is simple. In the end, your life is the sum of the choices you make, and your legacy is the proof. So live boldly. Choose wisely. Make every decision count, because you have one life, you have one chance, and your choices are what will echo long after you are gone. Every single day, we make hundreds of choices, some conscious, some unconscious, that quietly shape the trajectory of our lives. Most people underestimate the power of these small, seemingly insignificant actions. But here's the truth. Your daily habits are the foundation of your destiny. What you do consistently, not occasionally, determines the outcomes you experience. You can't change your life overnight with one grand gesture or one big decision. Transformation comes from the compound effect of repeated actions over time. The small things, the things you do every day, are what determine whether you rise or stagnate, whether you flourish or falter. Think about it for a moment. If someone asked you to predict the future version of yourself 10 years from now, what would you say? You might imagine wealth, health, relationships, or achievements. But the reality is, your future self is already being created by the things you do or don't do today. Every habit you maintain is a vote for the type of person you will become. Every choice you repeat, every routine you follow is carving the path of your destiny. And the scary part is, if you're not intentional, life will fill those habits in for you. Randomness, distraction, and default behavior will shape your destiny whether you like it or not. Now, let's be real. Habits are tricky. They sneak into our lives quietly. Some of them feel good in the moment but hurt us in the long term. Like scrolling endlessly on your phone, procrastinating, or indulging in comfort over growth. Others feel uncomfortable or difficult at first, but yield incredible rewards over time. Getting up early, reading, exercising, showing up consistently, speaking life into your goals. The difference between the person you are today and the person you want to become is hidden in these daily decisions. Every habit you choose to nurture, every routine you establish is either building your future or quietly eroding it. Here's the thing about habits. They are neutral. They don't judge you. They don't care about your excuses. They simply reinforce themselves over time. If you consistently hit the snooze button, instead of getting up and taking control of your day, you are teaching yourself that comfort and avoidance outweigh discipline and growth. If you consistently invest time in learning, in movement, in reflection, and in meaningful relationships, you are teaching yourself that progress, health, and connection matter more than temporary pleasure. The beauty and the danger of habits is that they are cumulative. They compound quietly, sometimes invisibly, and yet they shape the very essence of who you become. Consider this. A tiny change repeated consistently has an enormous effect over time. Drinking just one extra glass of water, reading 5 pages of a book, taking 10 minutes to reflect on gratitude, or speaking kindly to someone, these small actions seem inconsequential in isolation, but repeated every day, they grow into monumental shifts. It's the power of consistency over intensity. You don't need a perfect day to change your life. You need repeated good choices, small steps that add up, and daily habits that align with the destiny you want to create. Many people get caught in the trap of waiting for motivation to strike. They wait for the perfect day to start exercising, to begin a new project, to have a meaningful conversation, or to pursue a dream. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. Habits don't require motivation. Habits rely on discipline and consistency. If you wait for motivation, you will wait forever. Destiny isn't built on bursts of inspiration. It's built on the steady, deliberate choices you make day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's also important to understand that habits aren't just about action, they shape your identity. Every habit reinforces who you believe you are. If you consistently make excuses and avoid responsibility, you reinforce the identity of someone who can't achieve their goals. If you consistently take care of your mind, body, and spirit, you reinforce the identity of someone who is capable, disciplined, and unstoppable. Your habits are the mirror that reflects your true self, the self that is silently shaping your destiny every single day. And here's the beautiful thing. Your habits also influence the people around you. Your consistency inspires others. Your discipline challenges others, and your actions create an environment where growth is possible. Think about the people you admire. They didn't achieve their success overnight. They weren't lucky, they were consistent. They understood that destiny isn't a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice, compounded daily. And their habits created a ripple effect that changed their families, communities, and even industries. But let's not sugarcoat it. Creating powerful habits takes intention and sacrifice. It requires showing up even when it's hard, staying committed even when the results aren't immediate, and sometimes resisting the instant gratification that society constantly tempts us with. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy, but it works. Every day you choose to honor your commitments, to act in alignment with your goals, and to prioritize growth over comfort, you are shaping your destiny. Every day you allow distraction, procrastination, or fear to dominate, you are letting your future slip through your fingers. One of the most dangerous illusions is the belief that you can rely on talent or luck alone. Talent without habits is wasted potential. Luck without preparation is fleeting. But habits, small, consistent, intentional habits create results that talent and luck alone could never achieve. The people who succeed long term are not the ones who stumble upon opportunity. They are the ones who have structured their days, aligned their routines with their goals, and committed to practices that compound over time. Habits turn dreams into reality, intentions into results, and potential into destiny. So, what does it look like to create habits that shape your destiny? It starts with awareness. You have to identify the behaviors that are moving you forward and those that are holding you back. You have to commit to replacing destructive patterns with constructive ones. And you have to understand that consistency beats intensity. You don't need a perfect day, you need a committed life. Small steps, repeated daily, lead to extraordinary results over time. Your destiny is not defined by a single moment of brilliance or luck. It's defined by what you do every day when no one is watching. It's defined by how you spend your mornings, how you manage your thoughts, how you treat your body, and how you interact with others. The truth is, you are already living the consequences of yesterday's habits. And tomorrow, you will reap the harvest of the choices you make today. It's easy to feel powerless in a world full of distractions, pressures, and challenges. But you are not powerless. You have agency. You have control over the small actions that, repeated over time, create extraordinary outcomes. You can choose your habits. You can design your daily rituals. You can align your life with the destiny you want to live. But it requires discipline, awareness, and courage. The courage to show up every day, even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or unseen. So, I want you to reflect on this. What are your habits creating? Are they building the life you dream of, or are they slowly eroding your potential? Are you investing in yourself daily, or are you surrendering your future to distraction, fear, and comfort? The choice is yours. And the truth is simple. Your habits don't just influence your day, they shape your destiny. Every decision you make, every action you take, every habit you form is an investment in your future. Some days will be hard, some days will feel meaningless, but the power lies in showing up consistently. Because destiny is not an accident. It is created, it is cultivated, it is earned, and it is earned through the quiet, steady, persistent power of daily habits. So, start today. Make one intentional choice. Repeat it tomorrow. Build on it the next day. And over time, you will look back and realize that your destiny was not determined by chance. It was determined by the power of the habits you chose to honor every single day. Listening is one of the most powerful tools we have in life. Yet, it's also one of the most underutilized. Most people hear, but they do not listen. They are waiting for their turn to speak, planning their next move, or reacting emotionally. But true listening, intentional, focused listening has the power to transform your life. It's the difference between seeing opportunities and missing them. It's the difference between stagnation and growth. It's the difference between living a life by default and creating a life by design. Listening is more than a skill. It's a pathway to action, a bridge between knowledge and execution, a conduit through which opportunity flows into reality. Think about it for a moment. Every opportunity, every lesson, every piece of wisdom you will ever need is constantly surrounding you. It comes from the people you meet, the books you read, the conversations you have, and even the quiet moments of reflection. But if you are not listening, if your mind is elsewhere, if your focus is scattered, these opportunities pass by unnoticed. The world is speaking to you every day, but are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you ready to receive what is being offered? Because the truth is simple. Opportunities exist, but they are meaningless until they are recognized and acted upon. Listening transforms potential into reality. Listening requires intention. It requires slowing down, putting aside distractions, and genuinely engaging with what is being said, whether it's by a mentor, a friend, or even by life itself. It is active, not passive. True listening is not just about hearing words, it's about understanding context, feeling emotion, and discerning meaning. It's about picking up on subtleties that most people miss. And here's the most important part. Listening is only valuable when it leads to action. Knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is power. When you listen with the intent to act, you turn what could be fleeting insight into concrete results. Most people underestimate the power of listening because they confuse it with waiting. They think that listening is passive, that it's about being quiet, nodding, and smiling. But that is not listening, that is waiting. True listening is active engagement. It's asking questions, seeking clarification, challenging assumptions, and reflecting on what you hear. It's the willingness to be uncomfortable, to be corrected, and to change direction based on what you learn. And every time you listen deeply, you gain an advantage, a piece of wisdom, a hidden opportunity, or a perspective that others overlook. Opportunities are everywhere, but they rarely come labeled. Life doesn't announce them with flashing lights or fanfare. Most of the time, opportunities are subtle. They are hints, whispers, and nudges disguised as ordinary moments. A conversation with a stranger might spark an idea. A comment from a colleague might reveal a gap you can fill. A challenge you face might point you toward a new path. If you are not listening, these signals are lost. If you are listening, they become actionable intelligence. Listening converts the abstract into the concrete, the potential into the practical, the idea into execution. Let me make this personal for a moment. Think about someone you admire, a leader, a mentor, an innovator. What do all of these people have in common? They listen more than they speak. They observe before they act. They absorb more than they react. And because they listen, they recognize opportunities that others miss. They make informed decisions. They act decisively. Listening is not just a skill, it's a competitive advantage, a tool for turning awareness into achievement. But here's the challenge. Listening requires discipline. Our world is full of noise, distraction, and competing voices. Social media, emails, notifications, and constant stimulation train our brains to skim, scroll, and react impulsively. In this environment, listening deeply requires effort. It requires carving out time for silence, for reflection, and for focused attention. It requires resisting the urge to respond immediately, to interrupt, or to impose your own agenda. It requires humility, the humility to acknowledge that you don't have all the answers and that others may have insights you need to hear. Listening also requires vulnerability. When you truly listen, you open yourself to being challenged, corrected, and transformed. You may hear things that disrupt your assumptions or push you out of your comfort zone. But these are exactly the moments when listening turns into action. The lessons that are uncomfortable are the lessons that catalyze growth. The ideas that scare you are the ideas that create breakthroughs. If you are willing to listen, even when it's uncomfortable, you will find that doors you never knew existed begin to open. And here's a truth that most people overlook. Listening doesn't just apply to others. It also applies to yourself. Listening to your intuition, your inner voice, and the subtle signals from your body and mind is just as important as listening to external sources. Your instincts, your reflections, and your moments of clarity often point to opportunities that are aligned with your purpose. But if you are distracted, if you ignore these internal cues, you miss your own guidance. True listening is holistic. It connects external input with internal insight, creating a roadmap for action that is informed, intentional, and inspired. Action is the natural companion of listening. Listening without action is wasted energy. Knowledge without application is wasted potential. The person who listens but never acts is like someone who buys a map but never takes a journey. Listening transforms information into insight, and insight transforms into action. When you listen deeply, You become equipped to make smarter decisions, to seize opportunities, and to create results that are meaningful and lasting. There's also a multiplier effect with listening. When you listen to others, you create trust, respect, and influence. People feel heard, valued, and understood. And when people feel heard, they share more. They share ideas, insights, and opportunities that they would otherwise keep to themselves. Listening creates a feedback loop where knowledge, opportunity, and action flow continuously. The more you listen, the more you receive. The more you act, the more momentum you build. It's a cycle that compounds over time, producing results far beyond what you could achieve alone. Now, consider the consequences of failing to listen. Every time you ignore advice, dismiss feedback, or tune out the wisdom around you, you are closing a door. Every opportunity that passes unnoticed is a moment that could have changed your trajectory. Every time you assume you know better without truly listening, you risk repeating mistakes, missing connections, and forfeiting growth. Life is constantly offering us lessons and opportunities, but we only benefit when we are willing to pause, focus, and absorb. Listening transforms what could be missed into what can be seized. So, how do you practice listening intentionally? It starts with presence. Show up fully. Put away distractions. Look people in the eye. Engage your mind and your heart. Ask questions that dig deeper. Reflect on what you hear before responding. Take notes if you need to, and be willing to act on the insights you gain. Listening is not passive, it's deliberate, disciplined, and purposeful. And every time you listen with the intent to understand and act, you move closer to realizing your goals and fulfilling your potential. The truth is simple. Opportunities are all around you. They exist in conversations, experiences, and moments that often seem ordinary. But listening transforms these ordinary moments into extraordinary outcomes. It converts insight into action, potential into progress, and vision into reality. The people who succeed, who lead, who innovate, and who inspire are not necessarily the loudest or the most talented. They are the ones who listen. They are the ones who take in the wisdom, perceive the hidden opportunities, and act decisively on what they learn. So start today. Make a commitment to listen more intentionally to yourself, to others, to the world around you. Pay attention to the signals, the advice, the whispers, and the nudges that life gives you every day. Absorb them, reflect on them, and act on them. Because the difference between a life of missed chances and a life of impact is listening. Listening transforms opportunity into action, and action transforms your life into the legacy you were meant to create. So let me leave you with this. You have one life, one chance, one shot at making your mark, at living fully, at leaving behind a legacy that matters. Everything we've talked about today, every choice you make, every habit you cultivate, every moment you listen adds up. They are not isolated events. They are threads in the tapestry of your life, weaving a story that is uniquely yours. Your choices define your legacy. Every decision you make, whether big or small, sends ripples far beyond what you can see. The courage to choose wisely, the integrity to choose what is right over what is easy, and the determination to choose growth over comfort. These are the choices that will echo long after you are gone. You have the power to decide what story your life tells, and the time to decide is now. Your daily habits shape your destiny. The small, consistent actions you take every single day compound into something extraordinary over time. What you do when no one is watching, the routines you honor, the disciplines you maintain, all of it matters. One step repeated consistently can move mountains. One day you'll look back and realize that it was not luck or chance, but the daily habits you chose that brought you to where you are meant to be. And listening, truly listening, transforms opportunity into action. Life is constantly speaking to you. Opportunities surround you. Guidance, wisdom, insight, and chance appear every single day. But if you are not paying attention, if you are not present, if you are not willing to hear and act, they will pass you by. Listening opens your eyes to what's possible, connects you to the people and resources that can lift you higher, and turns what could be a fleeting moment into a breakthrough that changes your life. So today, I challenge you to live intentionally, choose deliberately, build habits that empower you. Listen closely, not just to the world around you, but to the whispers of your own heart. Life is too short to drift. Life is too precious to waste. One life, one chance, and every day you are given the gift to move closer to the life you were meant to live. The question is simple. What are you going to do with it? Will you leave your life to chance, or will you step into it with purpose? Will you act boldly, consistently, and intentionally, or will you let opportunities pass while waiting for the perfect moment? The truth is, the perfect moment doesn't exist. There is only this moment right now. And it is enough. It is enough to make a choice, start a habit, listen deeply, and take action. Your life is your legacy. Your habits shape your future. Your attention transforms possibility into reality. And the power to create a meaningful, extraordinary life is already in your hands. One life, one chance. Don't let it slip away. Live it fully. Choose wisely. Listen every day. And when you do, I promise you, your life will not just be lived, it will be remembered.